In the eastern wall of a Temple Mount, at almost ground level, two bricked up arches that had never been noticed before have just been discovered. Is this the uncovering of an underground gate on the Temple Mount? Could these arches have been connected to areas under the ancient temple? And are those underground areas still hidden behind those bricks? That's what we're talking about today, and we're starting right now. What got me excited about this find is that the most noted archaeologist of all things Temple Mount is excited about this find too. That architect is Lev Rittmeyer, pictured here with his wife. If Rittmeyer's excited, then so am I. Let's try and orient this find for you. The eastern wall we mentioned is the wall of the raised platform on which the Dome of the Rock stands today. It's the contention of Rittmeyer that in the Bible times, the Nicanor Gate stood on this wall. The Nicanor Gate was the main entrance from the Court of Women into the main temple area. First, the altar and the place of slaughtering, and then on into the holy place itself. Now, Rittmeyer doesn't think these arches were the Nicanor Gate, but something else. Something to the side of the main gate. And that makes them even more exciting to me, because what they likely led to was an underground area. Now, Jesus prophesied that not one stone would stand upon another in Matthew 24, but underground temple structures may still exist. These two arches were recently discovered by Dr. Eli David. And it's obvious that they had been blocked off or walled off at some point. This leads to a flurry of questions. Who built them? Why were they blocked off? And most importantly of all, where did they lead? Let's start with who built these hidden arches. Disappointingly, they were probably not part of the original temple. Jesus was pretty clear that not one stone was left upon another. However, and this is the exciting part, even if they weren't part of the original temple, someone built these underground gates for a reason, because they led somewhere. They led underground. Now, why would somebody build gates leading underground? The reason is that whatever they led to existed at that time when they were built, and likely still exists. I never thought it possible that any portion of a second temple still existed because every stone was cast down. But I had never considered the possibility before that an underground portion of a temple was still there. That is, until this discovery. So who built the gates? Possibly Jews or Christians in the 2nd or 3rd century after the destruction of the temple in AD 70. At that time, someone realized what this underground chamber was. They realized that this portion of a temple had actually survived, and they wanted to memorialize the entrance to this area with these beautiful arched gates. Okay, second question, why were they bricked up? Because it's obvious that the gates were sealed with stones. They are part of the retaining wall of the raised platform that supports the Dome of the Rock. Back in the 7th century, Muslims built the retaining wall first, filled it in with dirt, and then built the dome on top of it. That should tell you who bricked up these gates. The Muslims who built the Dome of the Rock bricked them up. And why did they brick them up? Well, possibly to better support the raised platform. They also may have chosen to seal off all evidence of the former temple. We can only guess at their motives. However, a story from the 19th century might give us a clue. At the southern end of this same eastern wall, there are indications of additional underground structures, additional spaces that may have survived the destruction of a temple. British military officer and archaeologist Charles Warren asked for permission to explore this underground area. But the very next day, a big pile of earth was placed in front of the opening that prevented him from entering. The pile of dirt was later replaced by a stone blocking wall that still exists to this day. What is behind that wall? And why did they so hurriedly hide it? According to Dr. Rittmeyer's calculations, this was the location of the Chamber of Hewn Stone, where the Sanhedrin, or the Jewish Supreme Court of 70 top leaders, used to hold court sessions. And that is important both for Jews and Christians. For Christians, this Chamber of Hewn Stone is one of the locations where Jesus was put on trial. When it was day, the council, or Sanhedrin, of elders of the people assembled, both chief priests and scribes, and they led him away to their council chamber, saying, "If you are the Christ, tell us." This council chamber was the Chamber of Hewn Stone. So does that chamber still exist behind this hastily built wall of stones? I think it likely. If you rewind and look at the drawing by Rittmeyer, this was the location of that chamber. And that's really exciting to find the possible location of such a significant room. So it is also likely that the arches we've been discussing in this video were bricked up for the same exact reason, because something of significance is behind those bricks and under the Dome of the Rock, something the Muslims have tried to keep hidden. But what could it be? What makes this difficult, of course, is orienting ourselves between the 21st century of what the Temple Mount looks like now and what it looked like back 2,000 years ago. But there are still some remnants of that first century around that may give us clues. For instance, look at this wall. It's the same wall in which the arches are placed. Two large stones remain at the base of the wall, which Rittmeyer speculates may have been from the time of Herod, and may have served as part of the retaining wall of the Court of the Women. Okay, let's explain what that means for a moment. The temple had a series of courts, beyond which certain types of people could not go. The outer court was for women and the ceremonially unclean. They could go no further. Beyond this, men could ascend the 15 steps and enter the temple court, the court of Israel. Here is the court of the women. This was the court of Israel, and this is the way you would pass to enter the court of Israel. And right here are the arches that we're talking about in this video. Josephus refers to this wall and tells us there was a sign on it prohibiting the entrance of a foreigner under the penalty of death. Antiquities 15:417. This may likely have been what Paul was also speaking of in Ephesians 2:14 when he wrote that Jesus had broken down the middle wall of partition, the wall that was keeping people from getting to God. Amazingly, one of the warning signs has been found, and the warning was written in Greek. No foreigner is to enter within the barricade and embankment around the sanctuary. Whoever is caught will have himself to blame for his death, which follows. So what was located to the side of an Nicanor gate under the temple courts? On this drawing from Rittmeyer, we can see they were music rooms. In the Midrash we read, "And there were chambers under the court of Israel, which were opened to the court of women, and where the Levites played upon harps and lyres and the cymbals and all the instruments of music." It was basically an orchestral pit, which provided the soundtrack for the temple ceremonies. Now, that may not seem wildly interesting at first, But these rooms too are related to the life and ministry of Jesus. On the Feast of Tabernacles, every morning at dawn, a group of priests went down to the Siloam pool and drew fresh water to be poured on the altar after the daily morning sacrifice. Their arrival at the temple with water was accompanied by trumpet blasts and the Levites singing the songs of ascent from the book of Psalms as the priests ascended the steps right next to these music rooms. At these water ceremonies, the musicians played very loudly. In the Talmud it says, "He who has not seen the water drawing ceremony has never seen joy in his life." It must have really been something. Now Jesus attended this ceremony during his ministry, and he caused quite a stir. On the last day, the great day of the feast, Jesus stood and cried out, saying, "If anyone is thirsty, let him come to me and drink. He who believes in me, as the scripture said, from his innermost being will flow rivers of living water." Can you imagine Jesus stealing the show in this way? It would be like the presidential Christmas tree lighting in America. And just at the moment the president lit the tree, Jesus comes out from among the crowds shouting, "I am the light of the world." A pretty big disruption. And as we said, to be heard, Jesus would have had to shout it over the musicians and singers. No wonder there was a great division among the people. Some thinking Jesus was Messiah, others wanting to seize him and take him prisoner. So a division occurred in the crowd because of him. Some of them wanted to seize him, but no one laid hands on him. The officers then came to the chief priests and Pharisees, and they said to them, "Why did you not bring him?" The officers answered, "Never has a man spoken in the way this man speaks." So will these music chambers be reopened someday? Will they be reopened by the Jews or by Jesus himself? And will the third temple be rebuilt? If it is, will it share the Temple Mount with the dome? Will it be built elsewhere? Or will the dome be taken down? To keep watching, well, click right here. See what the Bible has to say about these possibilities. Till then, this is Nelson, and I'll see you there.